Hey everybody, the Johnny Cage here, welcoming you to another edition of Friday Night Skype. Tonight's guest has only been uploading videos on YouTube since March 23rd of this year. Yet, despite this short amount of time, he has managed to accumulate 1,798 subscribers and over 70,000 video views through a mix of not just being entertaining and informative, but also going the extra mile to increase the production quality of his videos through a great deal of editing work. His videos include the series Is It Fun?, in which a game is reviewed with the simple intention of answering that question. This series, as well as another featuring his ever-growing video game collection, has made him one of the most up-and-coming members of the retro gaming community here on YouTube. Evan S. is proud to have with us tonight NES Complex.
Wow. Wow. That is quite an introduction.
We go all out. We go all out.
Good intro, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, wow.
That's what I do. All right, so I guess, why not get rid of the first question that we ask everybody, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this after we talked a few days ago, but what is your favorite video game of all time?
5 seconds to answer, or it defaults to E.T. Go.
Okay, Super Metroid. There, I went.
Yes!
Super Metroid, without a doubt. You know, the thing about Super Metroid, I love the fact that it's almost like an art to play it. The way that people have been able to bend and break the rules and, sidestep what you're supposed to do and go out of order, that makes that game, to me, just an art. When I played it the first time, I think it took me about 9 hours to beat, but, every time I play it, I find new secrets or shortcuts, and, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos looking for those ways to trim time off, and it's just a weird thing where you can go anywhere you want pretty much from the beginning if you know how to wall jump well, you know how to, skip things, little glitches. So that game, I don't know, I've played it probably 25 times all the way through.
Yeah, you know what makes it so great, and it's something that you don't even know if they could have intentionally pulled off, is having it a game that's perfect for both completionists and speedrunners.
Exactly.
When you look at some of the little tricks that you can do in there involving wall jumping and, the mock ball? Right?
Yeah.
Bomb jumping is an art of its own.
Oh, that's for sure. But, it's like some of that doesn't seem like it could have been intentional. I mean, that's just people
it
figuring
wasn't.
it out.
Yeah, there's another thing too. Like when you speed boost, if you take a few steps before you initiate a speed boost, you can actually do it with less real estate on the ground. So it allows you to do some shine sparking in areas where you wouldn't, you don't have enough room to reach that top speed to shine spark. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
I know most of it. But as you know, I'm not the biggest fan in the world of Super Metroid, just because it's not my cup of tea. I know everyone hates me. I'm the bad guy. What can I say?
Yeah.
But it's you can't doubt, no matter what you might think of it, that it is one of the best games ever made for the Super Nintendo. I mean, so that's the bottom line there. Let's see. Let's start at the beginning. And you've only been doing this for a short while. But what was your first inspiration? What really made you want to start making videos on YouTube?
Well, I think a lot of people say it was James, Angry Video Game Nerd. And definitely watching his videos a long time ago, I saw something there and I kind of wanted that. But I think the thing that really pushed me over the edge was I listened to the All Gen Gamers podcast with Games31 and Pete Dorr and, those guys. And I just was jealous of the camaraderie that they had. And so I didn't know if there'd be room for another person on YouTube. There's so many people as it is. But I decided that I would never know unless I tried. And so I just put a video up there, and in March, so about 6 months ago now, I finally put a video up there and hoped for the best. And pretty quickly I started meeting some people, and that's really the only thing that I had in mind, is just to make some friends and have camaraderie. I don't have a lot of retro gaming friends where I live. A lot of people are into modern stuff, and I play modern stuff, but it was really about the friendship, and I think it was Pete and Happy Console Gamer, the friendships that they had. And so if I don't get another subscriber, honestly, it's not what it's about. It's about the friends I've made. People like Vintage Video Game Geek. He is a great friend. Talk to him all the time. Probably too much. But
everyone, I think, that gets into YouTube, sure, they want subscribers and viewers, but I think that everyone, at the end of the day, they really want to be able to be part of a community.
Yep.
on YouTube, and that's, I'm so grateful that I get to hang out with these guys like every night. We're always like,
Yeah.
I can jump on Skype and I know that someone in this group is going to be there, and it's crazy how there's so many different communities of gaming in YouTube. We were talking about, we're more like the Let's Players, and you're more from like the retro gaming community.
Right.
And they really come together every now and again, because I consider myself a member of both. I think I watch people's videos equally, really, because I'm, all about the Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and, that's what I Let's Play, and so those kind of cross over for me a lot.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that there's all these different aspects within the gaming community. It's really neat. I was, actually, I don't know what I was going to say. I don't even remember.
That's all right. That happens a lot when you're on
My
the spot.
caffeine isn't kicking in.
Well, let's go back to that very first video, which was part of your series, Is It Fun? It was a review on Kid Icarus. And as I was looking through your videos, I noticed so far on that particular series, all you've reviewed are NES games. And is there a particular reason for that?
Yes, but I can't. I'm not going to tell you. There's like this big secret, which I've only told one person, and they kind of laughed at me and said that's stupid and it's never going to work. But I have this big plan and this secret, and the reason why I'm doing that.
Wow, so this is building up to something much greater than
I'm
you
trying.
realize.
I'm trying, but he I ran it by him, and he said that's kind of stupid. So who knows? Maybe it's not going to work. But I basically plan on going through the rest of the alphabet with NES. And then I'm as I go through Nintendo Power.
Oh, and we'll talk about that plenty.
Yeah, right. I stole it from you. But
yeah, we know you did.
yeah, as I go through Nintendo Power, once I get to the Super Nintendo and Game Boy, I plan on probably doing more of that stuff as well.
Well, it made sense to me because I think that the Nintendo is a very popular system. It has over 700 games for it, and it's hard to find like the hidden gems on it, because when you talk about the system, you talk about the classic games for it, and you've reviewed some games like Astyanax, if that's how you pronounce it. Who knows how you pronounce it? It's like pronouncing Zixus, I'm not sure if that's right either, but
I don't either.
But that, and you did the Legend of Kage, which I really have to have, because it's Cage and Kage. It should just be in my collection anyway. And if that was the first game I think you did, where you were like, this game really, it's not bad, but it's not amazingly fun. So this might be part of the master plan as well, but do you kind of, do you want to switch off from one game to another, like a good game and then a not-so-great game, or do you just, pop a game in, not really knowing how you're going to feel about it that particular playthrough, and then come up with the conclusion after the gameplay is all recorded and it's all done with?
Well, there's some games that I definitely want to, I wanted to talk about Metroid just because I love it so much, so I just wanted to do it. And other games that, like Bucky O'Hare, where I've heard good things about it, but I didn't know for myself, so I thought that would be a perfect game. And so, I think the next letter I'm going to do is D, right? So I'm not sure if I want to do DuckTales 2, or I found Die Hard.
Oh, really? Die Hard's a pretty expensive game for it actually being, a movie-licensed game. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. Yeah, and, I played Die Hard a little bit since I got it, and it gave a real sense of, when I played an NES game for the first time back when I was a kid, there was a certain sense of discovery about it, kind of being a little confused. Those games, there's a lot of, what the heck's going on? At least that's how I felt when I was a kid. So playing that for the first time, I felt that way, and it was really kind of enjoyable. So I'm not sure which game to do for D, but that's the next letter. And so, yeah, when I'm trying to decide, with X, look, I made that little spinner, but I knew I was xenophobe. Let's just be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really hoping for Zixus myself. That's actually a really good game.
I love Zixus, yeah. I absolutely love it, and that's one of the things I didn't really want to play a game that I knew for sure I would love. It was about time that I would pick one that I really wasn't sure, and I was very sure after playing Xenophobe that it's a piece of crap.
Yeah. Final summation, piece of crap. Yeah. Very scientific of you.
It didn't take long.
Well, if I might throw in a recommendation for D, I would go with Darkwing Duck. I mean,
okay.
Capcom NES game, plays a lot like Mega Man. But it's a game that I think if you've never played it before, worth checking out at least.
I played it a little bit, but I hadn't got too much into it, so that's a really good suggestion. Maybe I will.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, Capcom, NES and Super Nintendo, they could pretty much do no wrong. So, except for, oh wait, there was one game that they did really bad. Oh, Tailspin, that was the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The original Mickey Mouse-capade isn't that great.
No, yeah, that's true. That's kind of lacking. But I think like Tailspin's like just broken as hell
Yeah.
in the bad kind of way. So.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we've, it's kind of funny because you've been saying this stuff in your answers, and it's been leading me from literally one question I have written down to the next. So
I did that on purpose.
yeah, things really worked out. We really, it worked. I don't know what to say.
What?
But let's talk about Nintendo Power. Let's talk about the Nintendo Power Time Machine.
Yeah.
Now, me and NES Complex are friends. He's an awesome guy, but he blatantly stole this idea from me.
Blatantly.
Lies. No, when I always want to come up with a title that hasn't been taken. So, like, when I was trying to think of a way to review games, I searched all over for "Is it fun?" and I didn't see it. But when I searched in my phone for Nintendo Power Time Machine, it didn't come up on the first few pages. So I just assumed that it didn't exist.
Yeah, well, I can't blame you. It's not like those videos have tons of views or anything like that.
Sorry.
So.
No, it's your fault for not being popular enough, Johnny.
Yeah, I know, right? It really is. You gotta work on it.
After the fact, though, well, I don't think mine come up forever either, but after the fact, I looked on my computer, and I think I'd already done 2 episodes, and I looked on my computer, and I said, oh, crap, it does exist. And I think that's how I contacted you. I actually contacted you, like, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thing. I asked for permission because I was totally prepared, if it bothered you, I was going to change it.
No, yeah, and I was really surprised. Most people wouldn't do that, so that was very nice of you. But I mean, truth be told, I hadn't made an episode of that series, and it must have been like 9 months by that point. It's probably been a year now, and I don't know. I've been mostly focusing on my Game Cage series to get my kind of editing fix. And not only that, but I only own probably about 24 issues or so of Nintendo Power. And it seems like you have many more than that. So you certainly have the more material to work with. And
yeah, it's funny when I contacted you. I said I did not do this on purpose. This is it's just a strange coincidence. And I think you replied sort of like, yeah, right. You didn't say that, but I was wondering if you believe me.
Oh, well, no, I definitely don't take it. Never took it personally. Not at all. Like, I could have cared less, If I would have seen it and you had never got in contact with me, I still would not have really cared, because it is something that I hadn't done in forever. And especially the fact that you are doing it better than I had done it. So, yeah, more power to you for sure. Everyone should go check it out. He starts at the very beginning. And speaking of beginnings, when did you first get your subscription to Nintendo Power? Have you had it the whole time?
No, it was issue 21.
21.
It was when Dragon Warrior was a subscription bonus.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Right,
I remember hearing
That was
about that.
crazy. I think that's when a lot of people signed up.
Very much, yeah.
Free video game's a good way to
Free
do it.
video game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Before that, I just would look at my buddies' magazines and drool over them and be jealous. But nope. My parents wouldn't pay $15 for a subscription back then.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That was a lot. Well, for my family, it was kind of a lot. So, yeah. So when that game came up, there's no way they were going to say no about that.
It's a free game. You can't say no. This is an offer we cannot refuse.
You really couldn't, even though I've never beat that game.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a game that has not aged well at all. Like, that might as well be like the quote-unquote game that is just like the worst aged game maybe of all time. I don't know. I mean, there are Atari 2600 games that have aged better than the original Dragon Warrior as far as I'm concerned.
It's actually funny because I remember when I picked that up, I came here all excited. I'm like, Genray, Johnny, I just got Dragon Warrior today, and they both kind of groaned at me like, oh.
Did you get it for free at least? But yeah, so that's Dragon Warrior for you. So did you have you now at least like gone back and seeked out those issues that you didn't have previously? Because I mean, you did the first issue of the magazine.
Yeah, I had issue 1, and I had the last issue of the Fun Club News. We just sent in for the free newsletter, and they sent everyone the first issue. If you were part of the Fun Club News, they sent you the first issue just to try it out. Oh, really? So I had those, But then my next issue, honestly, I didn't keep any of those early ones. I think I cut them up and I used the letters to make the titles.
Ransom notes.
Ransom notes.
Well, it looked like ransom notes, but it was like for mixtapes, which is worse.
Nice.
I don't know if that's better than a ransom note or not.
Well, my first issue had Bugs Bunny's Rabbit Rampage for the Super Nintendo on it, and I remember this was like the year when Pogs were at their height, and we got a Pog maker, and I just destroyed that magazine making Pogs out of it. Wow, that really speaks of the times.
Yeah, Nintendo Power even gave like Mega Man Pogs out.
Yeah, did they? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to those, but I had the little Mega Man. I think they were Mega Man X.
Wow. I mean, yeah, talk about a strange fad that was Pogs. That was just a weird thing. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was just weird to me.
Well, there's always weird fads.
There are, but Pogs just seemed especially weird. I don't know if we've had anything like it. Little cardboard chips, and it's a game that no one ever wanted to play because the first person to go would normally get more than half the stack, and then, boom, if you're playing for keeps, then why play at all? You know?
Little cardboard chips. Sounds like a conspiracy to get children into poker and gambling.
I think it is. It's a gateway game.
It's a gateway drug game. Terrible. Buy a Nintendo,
Well,
kids.
I'm a teacher, so I always see the little fads that kids go through, like the stupid silly band things that were like shaped like everything.
Mm-hmm.
You remember
God,
those?
right.
Yeah, I had to feel those,
yeah,
actually.
like freaking ducks and stuff.
Yeah, but kids bought those things like crazy, man. It's just like, I don't know, these marketing geniuses sit in their little room and they come up with weird crap and it somehow clicks sometimes.
Well, I actually had heard that was like the idea, at least, was made up by like a 7 or 8 year old or something like that.
And I'm not surprised, honestly.
It's not surprising.
Actually-
It's like, made a bajillion dollars off of it. They only have to be super popular for, a few months, and there you go.
That's right. Yep.
I have a question for you. As a gamer and a teacher, when you catch kids playing video games in your class, do you yell at them or do you give them tips?
Honestly, no one has ever played a video game in my class.
Aw.
I don't know how to say it. I'm a good teacher, and my students really like my class. So, I use PowerPoint and video clips from pop culture. Like, today I was teaching about the Middle Ages, and I had clips from Monty Python's Holy Grail.
Nice.
Nice.
And I have Simpsons clips in there all the time. And, it's just, there's not a chance for them to screw around because they just are engaged, Not to be cocky or anything,
No,
but
videos will do it, for sure.
they like my class. Yeah. But I
So
mean,
you're all grown up.
What? What?
I thought you were just another 20-year-old something let's player who's just trying to figure out his life. But I think you've got yourself settled.
Yeah, I'm married. I have 3 kids.
This is like when I found out that Ryan wasn't a 14-year-old boy.
Oh, right.
It's like, yeah, I'm an accountant that has 4 kids. Like, really? I thought you just, were like a high schooler that had a lot of free time to comment on all my videos.
And then the part after when we found out he was a professional wrestler, oh man, that was...
The cage match, huh?
Good old Ryan Phoenix. He'll beat you with a chair.
But in your teachings, have you ever used video games? Like, if you ever teach math, do you, say, oh, Mario needs to jump through a gap this big. How far will he have to jump?
Yeah,
And,
you can just use Donkey Kong Jr. math, Works great.
No way. I would never teach math. I hate math. But what's funny though is I actually structure my entire class on video games. Like I spent a lot of time analyzing what makes a game fun. Things like choice and variety and graphic presentation even and sound. Just the way that a game is because honestly, in a game you die a lot, and that's usually not pleasant. Failing a lot is usually something people don't like. If you constantly fail, you usually quit. And I think a lot of students quit because they feel like they're constantly failing. But in a video game, you constantly fail and you keep trying. It's kind of weird. And so I was thinking, what is it about a game, since I love games, what is it about them that makes kids keep going? And so I tried to break that down, and I've structured, instead of having a unit, I actually called my Rome unit is World 1-1, and then the next day of notes, a few days later, is 1-2, and they write that at the top of their paper. And, I call study guides, although this is just nomenclature, I call study guides strategy guides. And we have walkthroughs, which sort of hit on the high points. And of course, my room. I've in one of my. I think in my question and answer video, I do a little bit of shots of images from my room.
Mhm.
And like I painted one wall light blue, and I put all the sprites up for Mario World 1-1, Mario
Nice.
Double World 1-1, and I have like a question block hanging above my desk and posters everywhere. I mean, there's no doubt they know what I'm into, they know what I'm doing. So
But you would never let them know about your channel or anything.
no, I've never told. I keep telling them it's a squirrel hunting channel.
It's a squirrel hunting.
I have a teacher that actually uploaded videos of himself watching squirrels.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
You should do
It's
that.
a little
maybe.
strange.
Maybe,
Do you
maybe-
do you play boss music during tests?
No, but I should.
That would be awesome.
Might raise the stress levels quite a bit, I would imagine.
Yeah,
just
it
like, oh,
would.
God.
No, but I'd like to throw a few kids in a pit, maybe.
And what?
Like,
Give them,
what-
Give them a
what-
broken pool stick and have them go at it or something.
Oh,
What-
yeah, right.
Around what age are you teaching?
I teach 7th grade.
Did they catch on to the whole 1-1 reference and everything?
Oh,
or-
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear. I see. I'm out of touch with the younger kids. So I'm not sure if they're aware of classic Mario.
You know, I think that's one of those appealing things about being a teacher, because I had even considered wanting to do that. And it's like, I'm 26 now, and when I got done with school, it's funny how quickly, like, I guess, like, the pop culture kind of stuff, like we were talking about before, like, disappears from your world.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't know who Justin Bieber is, really. I've never heard any song by him. I don't know what that
Well-
Call Me Maybe song is. And it's like, wow, I got old quick.
Like even me, I'm 21. I have no clue what the hell dubstep is.
Oh, come on.
You're
Yeah,
lucky.
you're not missing stuff. Trust me.
I know, but I hear people saying that everywhere, like, "Oh, dubstep, dubstep," and I'm like, "What? What is this thing?"
You would know dubstep.
I feel like I'm born from another time period because I'm like one of the few people in my generation that hates dubstep.
I
It's
don't hate it, but I don't like it either.
It's a
It's
pop
kinda-
culture thing. But anyhow. So,
Well, I have a 10-year-old daughter, though, and so she watches Disney Channel. And I won't lie. I've watched some of her shows while they're on. If they're on, I'll just sit there and watch them. And so that's actually been really helpful. I can make these weird references to weird Disney Channel shows, and at least have this phony image. Like they probably think it's kind of creepy that I know about that stuff, except that I have a daughter. But I think it's funny when I can throw out some reference that they're like, you know about that? Weird. But have you guys heard of the what is it? Gangnam Style?
Oh,
Yeah, I
don't
just
bring up
saw a
that
YouTube
video. Oh
comment
god,
about that. I don't
do
know what
Don't
it is.
do it.
Dude, my students just showed me the video of Gangnam Style. It's some like Korean pop music. It's hilarious.
is that
It's
the one where
weird.
is it like a music video?
Yes.
And he's dancing around in that stall full of horses?
Yes, that's
Oh,
the one.
I can't believe I just got that. Like, someone showed me that once, and I had no idea that was it. But I was like, that guy could have been Korean. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that was weird.
Everybody's talking about that at my school, though. It's funny.
Wow, it reminded me of like those Indian like Bollywood music videos. Kind of, they're just like ridiculously over the top.
Oh yeah.
But
Funny.
anyhow, enough about crazy
Real life.
K-pop. Moving on. So you were just at the Classic Gaming Expo not too long ago.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I know you have 3 videos out about it, but if you wouldn't mind, tell us about your experience there.
Well, you know what? Before I say anything else about it, or at all about it, if anyone, if any of you guys are near any of those expos, or even if you're not, I really highly recommend that you go.
Yeah, well, that's been a running theme. I don't know how many times I've said, if you're interested into anything nerdy, comic books, anime, video games, you owe it to yourself to go to a convention. It's just amazing.
It's like 10 times, more than 10. It's 11 times better than I was expecting. So I just can't recommend it highly enough. But the Classic Gaming Expo, I live in Southern California, so that's in Vegas. It's just like about 3.5 hour drive. And so we drove up there, and, I think what was so nice about it is that everybody from YouTube, there just isn't any ego. And if you watch their videos, it's like you know them, and as soon as you meet them, you know them already. Even if you haven't talked very much. I'm sure you've had that experience as well, just from all the people you've met.
Mm-hmm.
But meeting them in person, you just know them already.
Yeah.
There's there's no awkward ramp up. You just know them. It's so strange. So it's like this whole fraternity. It's almost like this college reunion or something, you know, all your old friends, and you get together and it just clicks. And, of course, you're surrounded by your hobby. So there's a million things to look at and do. It's just nonstop. It's just amazing. And I don't know about the other expos, but from what I understand, Classic Gaming Expo has a pretty big vendor section compared to most. I mean, there were probably 30 different vendors, maybe more than that, and every one of them had, you know, multiple tables completely filled with everything. Like, there was some a little bit later stuff, but it was pretty much PlayStation 1 and earlier. I'm not too big on, like, the ColecoVision and Intellivision. I never had any of those. A little bit about Atari, but, those had a pretty big presence at Classic Gaming Expo, but the NES was well represented, you know, Nintendo 64, everything. They had so much there that you could very easily drop $1,000. I did not, but you could.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was actually watching your videos when you were going over the vendors. There were so many things that caught my eye. Like, for instance, the Super Famicom, the gold cart of the Punch-Out. I saw that, and I was just like, wow.
Yep. Yeah. Was that the Super Punch-Out?
Yeah. I believe it was a prize for something in Japan, and they only gave out so many of them.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, I asked the guy about it, actually. Yeah, that one table, he had everything import. It was really cool. There was like a Game Boy in that video, too, and someone messaged me $80 for a Game Boy, but what they couldn't tell, it was a Game Boy Pocket that was made to look like it was a Japan-only rare system that looked like the original Game Boy, but it was actually a Game Boy Pocket. And like I was so tempted by that. It just was a really cool-looking thing.
Do you by chance remember how much the price was on that Punch-Out?
I don't. It's not... I wonder if it's visible on the video. Because I think he had everything marked. Huh.
So when you were going there, I mean, speaking of vendors and games that they have available, where you probably had like a list of games that you were hoping to get, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
How did you do on that?
Well, the one thing that I was looking for most, they actually didn't have much of it all, and that was Super Nintendo.
Really? Oh, that's a shame.
I was hoping to get Wild Guns.
Oh, man, yeah, that's a really awesome game. Really hard to get.
Metal Warriors. I mean, it's not like I'm this big spender or anything, but like I was talking to Johnny the other night about it, and I think that we're on this cusp where games are still somewhat affordable, even at $100. That is affordable compared to what it's going to be even maybe a year from now. Like we're talking about DuckTales 2. A year ago I saw it for $50, and I said I can't do that. That's $50, and now it's easily over $100. 1 year ago I was looking at Little Samson for NES. It was $100. Today you'd be lucky to get it for under $400. Wow. And that's just a year. And so my kind of mindset is when I'm at these conventions and stuff, when I'm looking for stuff, there's a ton of common stuff that I'm interested in, but I'm not going to buy it yet. I'm going to pool my money together just to get those things, because if I don't, I'm going to have to just emulate, because I'll never be able to get it, Yeah. No, I'm so frustrated that I didn't get Little Samson.
Yeah, and that's, like I told you before, I mean, that's one of those games has a huge price tag, but is also probably one of the best games for the system. Honestly, just a beautiful-looking game. It's got a great gameplay. If anyone listening has the ROM of it, an emulator for the NES, give it a playthrough. It's a really, really fun game, and you'll understand why it almost warrants that price tag. Almost. Only almost. So you got out of there with a nice grouping of games. Want to talk about some of the ones you picked up there?
Yeah, I mean, along those lines, I bought Contra Force there, and I bought Baseball Stars 2 and Adventure Island 2. I got the G.I. Joe games for NES.
Yeah, those are going up in price too.
Yeah, that's like I said, everything I put on my list was that level game where it was like 20, 30, and a few that were a little more than that. I got Tengen Tetris, or Tengen. I go back and forth. I don't know how to say it. But I found that for a pretty good price. That's one where Billy said I caught him slipping. Yeah, no one, you don't see that game for less than $60.
Yeah.
But I got it very minty, and it was $40.
Mm-hmm.
But how long is it going to be $40?
Yeah,
How long
that's tough.
before they're all locked up in collections, and they become more rare just because people don't want to sell them?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I got a ton of games for the NES. Got Lolo 2, Lolo 3. Of course, this sounds like, wow, you probably spent a whole lot of money, and I did spend a lot of money. But I also saved. As soon as I decided I was going to go, I started putting money away, and I wasn't buying a whole lot on the side. Just saving, because I knew it was coming. So I ended up getting a TurboGrafx 16 for the first time, and I'm not going to be too concerned about having the little jewel case type thing. So I was just going for the Hue cards or whatever you call them.
Yeah, that's right.
Because to me, it's more about just playing the games.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I only have, I think maybe 20 to 25 dust covers for my NES games. I don't have any of them, and none of them are boxed. They're all just loose carts, but, just about having the games, I'll take them. If a game's not working right, if I pop it into the Nintendo and it's getting some glitchiness, I'll just take it apart and clean it myself.
Yeah.
And, I take a lot of pride in that, so it's a lot of fun, too. It's a good hobby.
Amen.
As long as you do it right, then there's a good chance of you messing it up and be like, oh, shoot.
Pencil eraser actually works. I'm just saying.
It does, yeah.
And
it's my method.
Yeah, I mean, I need to go out and get more supplies for a more thorough job, but I don't know. It's a Nintendo game, You open it up, and the circuit board is only maybe an eighth of the actual cartridge itself, so not exactly a lot to work with there, but. Speaking, we could talk more about classic gaming. So, because what did you do there primarily? Was it mostly? It probably wasn't mostly searching out games. I would imagine it would be hanging out with all the people that you've been talking with. In the short time that you've been on YouTube, hanging out with Gamester and the Game Chasers, amongst others.
Yeah. Well, on Friday. The expo didn't start till Saturday morning, but we got there Friday afternoon, and just me and my buddy, we just kind of walked around the strip, and I got some footage of some crazy, weird crap that goes on there. But on that day, we right outside the hotel, it's the Plaza Hotel. Mm-hmm. It's actually the same hotel that was used in Back to the Future for Biff's, alternate reality
awesome.
hotel.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, that's epic.
And right outside the hotel, there's sort of this open air mall sort of thing called Fremont Street, or I think it's Street. But down at the very end of that street, there's have you ever seen Pawn Stars? There's this toy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning the Toy Shack, and the toy expert from the show had his store.
Yeah, so I saw at the end of that walkway there was the Toy Shack, and it's home of the guy from Pawn Stars. So we went in there, and I thought I saw Dodongo from the Game Chasers. This guy had very similar hair, but he turned around and it wasn't him. But what was funny is standing right behind him, there's Jay with his Cubs hat from the Game Chasers. And so they were in there filming, and they haven't put that episode up yet, but they were in there filming, and I just kind of stayed back because I hadn't actually met them in person yet. So I just kind of was laying low, and I don't know what I was thinking. I had my camera, but I didn't film anything. But anyway, as they were walking out, I stopped Billy, and, I knew he had subscribed to me, so he must have sort of known who I was. So we talked for a little bit, and it was, it just, I was a little nervous, to be honest. It's kind of probably stupid, but...
Hooray for being starstruck by guys that don't consider themselves celebrities,
Well, that's what's so cool about it, is that he didn't. He wasn't like that at all.
Normal guy, yeah.
Yep. The next morning, we went down to, at the bottom floor, they had a McDonald's in the hotel, and me and my buddy were waiting for our food, and they came down and got some food at McDonald's, and he came up to me and struck up a conversation, and we ended up talking multiple times throughout the show because he's just, they're very down to earth. It's just beautiful that people aren't full of themselves. Mm-hmm. When, I think I can understand how people do get full of themselves. When you get all these comments and people talking to you all the time and sending you messages and people sometimes people treat you as if you're something special, and you got to kind of tell them, hey, dude, please don't. I don't want to have an ego. I'm a stupid little man.
Very little, very very little.
And, there's one guy, he'll always apologize for PM, sending me a PM. I'm like, dude, it's okay. That's fine. And so I purposely PM him and initiate a conversation so that he will stop. Don't it's no big deal, dude. I think you're cool.
Yeah, just make
But-
videos. Yeah, absolutely. I know, because I've had to. I think we've all. Well, I don't know. Most of us have had to deal with that to a level of a certain degree. But
Yeah, so we ended up just on Friday night, Gamester wasn't in town yet, but we went to this Pinball Hall of Fame, and that is a really cool place. I'm not a big pinball fan, honestly.
yeah, neither
But-
am I really.
But when you're around that much pinball, it's kind of hard not to appreciate it.
Mhm.
And the pinball games go back to the earliest days when you have to return the ball yourself, like push a button and it pops up for you. Weird rinky-dink, like the number count, like this high score counter, like kind of flips. It's like it's not electric, not lit up at least. But all the way to the most modern stuff, it was really crazy and cool. So I kind of started to understand why people do appreciate pinball. But then after that, we went out. It was Dinky Dana and Alex Demoted, a couple guys on YouTube. And we just went out and had dinner. We tried to see about gambling, but every table seemed to be taken. So we just hung out and chatted, and that was great. And then on Saturday was mostly about the convention. There were a lot of keynote speeches there.
Mhm.
So, I got to hear David Crane and Howard Phillips from, the bow tie guy from Nintendo Power.
Oh,
And
okay. Wow.
yeah, that was really cool, by the way, just to listen to him talk about the early days of Nintendo. He told this one really cool story, and I know some people, when they watched my video, they said, you should have played the whole video, or the whole speech, everything he said, but, it would have been like an hour. And I didn't film it all. But he told this story about when they first decided to send out cleaning kits for the NES. He said they got this phone call at the headquarters from a mom who was angry. And apparently her son was playing Duck Hunt, but there was something wrong with the contacts, and it didn't say duck, and it didn't say hunt.
That's really funny you say that story, because I was just watching this one guy on RetroWare TV. I forgot who it was. It was the guy that does the Let's Get series, and they're doing this whole big thing this month where they're going through the light gun games, and he said that same exact story in his video. So it's a pretty popular story, I guess. Maybe he was probably there, for all I know.
Oh, he might have been.
Mm.
Yeah. Then, so he said that they went back and they didn't believe her. So everyone put in Duck Hunt cartridges and they were jiggling it around and trying to make it happen, and then it did, and they said, "Oh crap!" They kind of panicked and they said, "We're sending cleaning kits to everyone," because they didn't want that image. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I have to go play Duck Hunt now, guys.
See you later.
That was like when not Smash Brothers, but Mario Party came out for the N64, and they had the stupid games where you had to rotate the analog stick as quickly as you can with your palm, and kids were ripping up their hands doing that. And so if parents sent in why is Mario had to give it to them like Mario's a real person? Mario's giving out gloves to kids because they're ripping up their hands playing.
Let me say that though. I think anybody who actually did that was a wimp. Whoever actually cut out their hands. Because I did that all the time when I was younger. I never once broke skin, and I was pretty badass at the game. Just not gonna lie.
Everybody, we gotta
Honestly, I never knew you were supposed to turn the stick with your palm. I thought you had to do it with your thumb, so that's how I would do it. I would still win the games. I remember my thumb would hurt, but I never complained about it. I was like, wow, is my thumb supposed to hurt that much from playing Mario?
No pain, no gain, son.
No pain.
I think that's
Exactly,
what
Johnny.
I think that's what broke most of the analog sticks on
Yeah,
my Nintendo 64 was trying to spin Bowser around on Super Mario 64.
Well, speaking of that, how they're all crappy sticks, I ordered off eBay. There's a GameCube stick that you can switch out in your Nintendo 64 controller. So my Nintendo 64 controller, the analog stick is like the GameCube analog stick.
Nice.
And it's very nice. It was $10, and the Switch is super easy to do. But so if you like your 64 and your controller sucks, that's what you need to do, because it revolutionizes it, makes it awesome again.
Yeah, that, and there's also buttons that stick. I'm not sure. One of them, the Z button, got stuck inside the controller. I'm not sure how that happened, but another one, it was I don't know if this is from Banjo-Tooie, but I'm still going to blame Canary Mary for this. Or having to press the A button like 6 times per second to beat her in the race.
Wow.
Hooray for button mashing games.
I actually recently just bought a new controller for Nintendo 64, and you're going to love this. When I was buying that, I also picked up Conker's Bad Fur Day for $5.
Haha. It's great.
It's a very good deal. One game that I wish I would have jumped on, and we talked about games that, we should have gotten before they got to where they are price-wise now. And we talked about Bucky O'Hare, because I remember leaving you a comment under a video when he did the Is It Fun of Bucky O'Hare. I'm like, oh, I love that game so much. And it's like $30 on average now to get it. And I'm just like, oh, that's like, I just don't feel like I should put $30 down for it. But you're right, that it's not going to go anywhere but up. And probably the best example I have of that is a really awesome game for the NES called Metal Storm.
Oh, yeah.
And when I first, I had wanted to get that ever since I started collecting about a year ago. And I think it was only going for about $25 to $30 then. And now it's like a $60 game.
Is it really?
Oh,
Loose?
yeah, it's very expensive. Like
Loose?
when Billy did that video showing that he had a boxed version of it, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish.
Wait, you said 60 loose?
Yeah. I've seen it go for 60 loose. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it on eBay about a year and a half ago for 15.
Yeah, I swear that game has really jumped a lot.
That's crazy. See, it just goes to show, and I think that with Nintendo 64, I've been talking to some store owners about how they're getting more and more demand for Nintendo 64 games. So if that's your cup of tea, you better snatch those up, because that age, those people they have the expendable cash, and they're not screwing around. They're buying back their childhood, and if you don't get in there now, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Right now with Nintendo 64, the most expensive game was a Blockbuster exclusive called Sculptor's Cut. It was
Clay Fighter, 63 and a third.
Right. So that one is, I remember a year ago I was seeing it for 50, and it's over 100 now. So that's the one rare one that I don't have. But I bought Beast Wars, I bought, Conquer, and, what is it, Bomberman 64 Second Attack.
Yeah.
With that system, I'm just going for those. I will with all of them, honestly, but I'm just going for that level game, because you're right, they're only going to go up, man.
Yeah.
A game I actually passed on, and this was before I was really collecting, and I regret it every single day. If I have one regret in life, it's this. I remember I was at the flea market. Just, this guy, he was at his stall. It was one of those stalls where he has, various junk. He had, Yu-Gi-Oh cards and random NES games. I'm looking through his NES games, and I saw Bonk's Adventure for $5.
Oh,
This is before I knew anything, so I thought nothing of it, and I put it down and walked away. And every single day, I'm just like, why? Why did I do that?
Why?
I'm sorry.
It's like losing somebody in the family. We've
It
lost
is.
Bonk's Adventure.
If I only had said goodbye.
You have a lot of games, NES. Where do you keep them all?
Where do I keep them all? Well, I have multiple places, actually, because they won't all fit in my current area.
Your
actually,
game room is quite impressive, by the way, especially the way you use the universal boxes and copy out. It looks really nice.
They do look really nice.
well,
yeah.
you'll notice there's only one angle.
And it's the best angle.
Yeah,
There you
it's the
go.
only angle.
It's the only
Yeah, the problem is, I had a game room, but just with my family situation, it made more sense to switch some things around. So I'm relegated to a very small area right now. So basically what you see is all that's displayed. I have a bunch of games in that I play a lot. The ones that I have on display are the ones that I play constantly. Well, not that I play, 500 games constantly, but the ones that I have stored away, they're things I wish one day I would love to display, but so I have a lot of boxes under my bed.
Well, someday maybe they'll see the light of day, but
They will.
one of these days, I tell you.
Yeah, it's a shame. I had when people ask me to do a room tour, and I laugh because it would take 5 seconds, but I kind of want to do it just to show what I had in my game room. More of a sad video. Not quite as
Just
sad
a
as
remembrance.
not sad like the Bonk tale, but
Yeah.
but
Quite that sad.
I had these really nice posters made of Super Metroid and Ocarina of Time, and it just looked so great. And then we decided months. I painted the room like a red and blue, sort of like Mario red and blue. It was all bright and flashy, and had my beautiful old CRT TV, how everything hooked up, and then we decided to change it, and it's sad.
Sad day in gaming. Sad day in gaming.
Well, it is, because honestly, right now, where most of my stuff's hooked up is in my room, my bedroom, and when my wife wants to go to sleep, it's like, I guess I don't have any time to play anymore. So, yeah, it's I don't get to play as often as I want. I got to figure out a new solution for that. Like, I'm gonna kick out one of my kids.
We're gonna crowd all of you into one room.
Yeah. How's the garage sound? Turn that into a room.
It's not so bad in the summer. Winter.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
You know, you can get the attic with the reverse
to play
effect.
with there.
I could put a sleeping bag in the garage.
Oh man, you know, one thing. Well, I regretted selling all of my Nintendo games back when the Super Nintendo came out, and it was really young. And I think it was like 6 years old, maybe just about 7. It was like, we're selling them all. We're gonna invest the money into Super Nintendo games. And it's like grand total $10 to invest in Super Nintendo games. And that $10 is a lot to a 7-year-old. So, yeah, that really bothered me. And I can't really remember every game that we had. I know we didn't have too many, but I've done my best to remember all the games that we had. And, you know, I've managed to buy them back, which made me really happy when I finally got them all.
Well, what's interesting about what you saying that, I think that the fact that we did sell them, because I think most of us did sell things off, right? Or we wouldn't be scrambling to get them back. But that's what's fueling a lot of what's happening on YouTube. We all miss those memories, those childhood things that we enjoyed. Yeah. So if you hadn't sold them, I don't know if it would have the same effect that it does on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely true. You know, it's like you get out there and you get into the real world, and you're like, no, I want to go back to when I was 10.
My parents were right. Dang it! It was easy.
This world's terrible. I remember getting a comment from somebody on a video that was like, I don't know if they had noticed that I upload videos every day, and they're like, "Man, you should get out into the real world," or something like that. And normally that's a comment that I would ignore or just delete. And I was just like, "Dude, I've seen the real world. It's terrible. I want to go back to my virtual reality world." Another thing I wish I still had. Speaking of Nintendo Power, I wish I still had the posters that used to come with all of the magazines, because they would be so awesome. I mean, they were awesome when they were displayed in my room when they were new, but. Now I only have like a few of them left, and I was looking through the ones I had left the other day, and I think the best one that I still have left is Superman 64.
Oh, yikes. That's the best condition?
Right? It was, I've got to put that up somewhere someday, but I'll wait until I'm in a place where I'm sure I'm going to stay for a while, and then show that off. Maybe frame it even,
You know, what's funny is I saw this picture when I was a kid, and behind me there, I had some posters from Nintendo Power. And one of them was for Wizards and Warriors 2, Iron Sword, which is basically Fabio without a shirt.
One of Fabio
It's really gay looking, man. It's like really strange for a boy to have that hanging up by his bed. Like,
think about it in retrospect, but at the time, it was really cool.
It was.
Oh man, yeah, I miss those a lot. And Nintendo Power, sadly, coming to an end at the end of this year. Have you been picking up like the do you still have your subscription to it?
I had a subscription until very recently, but they kept getting lost in the mail, and I don't believe it, because the ones that were getting lost, like, this really pisses me off, honestly. It was the 25-year anniversary special subscriber edition of the NES,
Oh wow, yeah, that would piss me off too.
Yeah, and so I picked it up at like a grocery store, and I got some other copy of it. But just certain ones were missing, and they were always the ones that had like a real high profile cover. And stupid Nintendo Power, when I'd call them, they'd be like, "Well, we can't send you that issue, but what we'll do is add another issue onto your subscription." So they wouldn't. I never could get the ones I missed unless I went and bought them. So, after that, I just said screw it, and I canceled. But yeah, I've been picking them up at Barnes and Noble
As they come out, yeah.
These last few, although I really wish that I had a subscription for the final issue, because I know they're going to do something special for subscribers, and that one I think is something you want to get right away.
Yeah,
because
I'm definitely not going to be able to have a subscription, but there's without a doubt I'm going to get that day one when it comes out, and I haven't bought an issue of Nintendo Power since I had the subscription back in like 1999, so that will be pretty interesting.
Well, they promised to do something special. You have to. 24 years
Yeah,
of a mag.
that was the magazine, man. Like, if you had the power, before the internet, like that was it.
Everyone, it seems, in the gaming world had some exposure to it, and it's just kind of been, even for some people, it's been more in the background, but it's still been there. It's been a part of our collective gaming world, And so for sort of a icon like that to go down, it is, it's a sign of the times, but it's kind of annoying.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad
yeah.
to see it go, but
It's sad.
It really is. I mean, when I was practicing for my Star Tropics Let's Play, I had an issue which had like a 4-page strategy guide getting you through the game, and it was so fun to sit down with the actual Nintendo on my tube TV and have a strategy guide from Nintendo Power and play through a Nintendo game like that. I mean, if I would have had like Ecto Cooler or like some Squeeze-Its or something like that, man, it would have been on. Like that would have been like early '90s all over
Nostalgia
again.
heaven there.
what?
Nostalgia heaven there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Occasionally, I'll break out those videotapes they used to send, like for Donkey Kong Country and Star Fox.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Just watch the cheese.
The Donkey Kong one, that was terribly 90s. That was almost as bad as like the game Totally Rad for the NES. Jeez.
It's kind of funny. I have the Banjo-Kazooie tape somewhere. No idea where it is, but I remember getting that in the mail. And then the Pokemon one.
Well, I remember I watched the one for when the N64 came out a whole lot. That was really cool. And then if you let the tape go at the end, there was like 5 minutes of blackness, and then it was just like, what? You want more? And then there was like a preview of Killer Instinct Gold, or Killer Instinct 2, or whatever it was for the N64. Whatever version of it. And I thought that was really cool. But,
the coolest thing I think Nintendo, one of my favorite things anyway that Nintendo Power gave is when the Virtual Boy came out, it actually, that issue, number 75, came with these red glasses.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it would make everything red kind of like, I don't know if it popped out or went into the background, but it works on every single, anything you look at, any magazine.
Really?
It become 3D. It's really weird. I mean, that issue in particular had a lot of red because it was covering Virtual Boy games, but I started looking at other issues and they all just kind of popped out. It was really cool.
Wow, that is pretty neat. Nah, I really need to get myself a pair of 3D glasses, actually, so I can play Rad Racer in 3D. Just rock out
I
to
just
that.
found out that the bushes in the original Super Mario Bros. 1 are just recolored clouds.
I know. Doesn't your mind blown now?
Mind blowing,
So-
yes.
I have actually just looked mind-blowing facts.
Well, how very appropriate. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. There are actually so many cool little things you can do in that game. But anyhow, that's for another day. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on video game glitches or something like that. Because there are plenty of them. None that have gotten to work really well. Like, I've never been able to get to world -1 in Super Mario Brothers.
minus-
I was actually trying that the other day on Skype with these guys, and they could just hear my frustration, me resetting the NES over and over again.
Yeah, it's
That's funny. That glitch is actually mentioned. I'm working on Nintendo Power Time Machine 3, and that's mentioned in the classified information. So I was just looking at that. It's funny.
Huh. That does,
Can you not use save states to try it?
What?
Use save states on a
it's
NES.
the actual Nintendo.
Oh,
We're legit here.
I'm,
I thought you just said emulator.
I'm not even sure if you can do it on the emulator. I mean, I suppose you could, but
I would think, but yeah.
That always makes me wonder. Be like, obviously they have a ROM for almost every single game, so that means somebody must have had the game at one point, which is kind of, mind blowing once you think about it. If that makes sense, or maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. Never mind.
well, you're kind of crazy. I'll give you that much. But
I don't believe you, but you are crazy.
anyhow, lots of great games out there. Definitely need to get them. And speaking of conventions and sorts, why not plug ourselves and Mr. NES Complex as well? We're all going to be at MagFest.
Are you all going?
Most of
Yep.
us are going.
Okay.
That's nice.
Awesome.
Antline's a minor, so he can't come.
Yeah, but a number of us are, including a guy that's not here tonight, Mr. Altegod. He'll be there as well. And yeah, we're just going to cram ourselves into a small room and hopefully not have to be in there all that long. But we'll see what happens because it's a convention. I don't want to be sleeping and I don't want to be stuck in the room for any longer than I have to. So just get out there. I mean, they've gotten a 24/7 arcade, and a gigantic arcade at that. So really, I'll be down there the entire time probably.
Have any of you guys gone before?
No.
No.
No, it's a completely new experience for all of us.
Yeah.
And we're all going to meet each other for the first time too. So it's gonna be a good ordeal, if you will.
Yeah.
Or it's going to go horribly, horribly wrong.
Oh,
One
that
of the two.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to meet up when we're out there, and we'll try.
Oh, yeah.
We'll try to do some videos. I'll do a Nintendo Power Time Machine with you, and I'll officially pass the torch or something.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sure.
We could totally do that. That would work. But anyhow,
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm looking forward to. I'm actually really waiting for them to put out the challenges for the challenge corner, because they've got, like, if you are able to beat every time you beat a challenge, and they're really really hard challenges. Like I mentioned before, like one of them was like beating Mike Tyson in round 1 in Punch Out for the Nintendo. It's like, nope, definitely can't do that. But
you have to beat a, oh gosh, what's that boss in Super Metro? A Fantoon? Not Fantoon. Yeah, Fantoon with like 3 energy tanks or something like that, using no upgrades in like the first beam.
yeah, it's pretty.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy stuff. And for each of those that you pass, you get like a point added to your score, and then at the end of the convention, they like tally them up. And I think there's a cash prize actually if you're the best there. So that just sounds like interesting fun. Not that I plan on trying to, win it or anything like that. But if they have any cool ones, especially Mega Man challenges, you can bet that I'll be there practicing those. That's for sure.
Now, is that supposed to be over the course of all 4 days? Is that how that works?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and you can just go up to it whenever you want. And I guess they just have attendees there watching everyone. And you play it on the actual console, the actual cartridge. And just give it a go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about like how MegFest was going to end, because you said, Johnny, that like basically on Sunday there's not going to be much of a convention. Are they going to start packing up on Sunday, or are they just going to
Well, based on my
slowly?
experiences with the one convention that I went to for years, Sunday is just like the cleanup day. It's your chance to go down. Actually, it's a really good day to get good deals on stuff. Like sometimes you can go down there and pick up games that they might have been asking more for before, but then they ended up not selling it, and you might be able to get a deal on it. Maybe not. But yeah, it's just really a day to just say your goodbyes to everyone and just kind of be on your way. Because I mean, everyone gets kicked out of the hotel at 11 a.m. So, you just have to carry the rest of your stuff around after that anyway. That's not a lot of fun. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Depending on how much stuff you bring. I mean, we're guys, so we'll pack lightly. But, we might come back with, a couple hundred video games or something, and that can take up a lot of room.
Shirt, shoes, and 500 NES games to go, please.
That's the dilly way. But anyhow, I guess before we end off Friday Night Skype here, I want to do something new. Instead of having where I ask, hey, does anyone have any last word? And everyone just starts shouting random crap, and it turns into ridiculousness.
Random crap.
One of my favorite... I'm a huge movie buff, and one of my favorite shows of all time is Inside the Actor's Studio, where it's a very intimate look at actors, and, it's very serious. Well, it's not always very serious. If it's a comedian, it's definitely not serious. But it's an intimate look at them as a person. And that's what I figured that I would start doing here. So we have the same 10 questions that he asks them at the end of every show, originally made by this famous French television host. And I have decided that I think we're going to start asking these. Because they're interesting questions and just thought-provoking. And this is very much like a Rorschach kind of test, like an ink blot test. So don't think too hard about it. There's no time limit, but I'm just going to ask you a question, and most of them are one-word answers. So, if I won't even ask you to explain your answer unless it's something really bizarre that might warrant explanation. So, anyhow, the very first question is, what is your favorite word?
There. I'm speechless. Favorite word?
Favorite word.
Wow, that was out of nowhere. Favorite
Yeah,
word.
they're pretty bizarre questions. They're abstract.
Do people actually have, like, quick answers on that show?
Yeah. Well, the idea is that you're not supposed to think about it. It's like if I were to ask you, a lot of people don't know what their favorite video game is.
Well, you know what's really sad is that the first word that came to my head was the. It's not my favorite word, but I see it so often.
I've fallen in love with it because it's always there.
Can I just say that I like words with the letter E
Sure.
and C for some reason?
Yeah.
Is that weird enough?
That fits perfectly. Is it an acceptable
Okay,
answer?
so I don't know what that word would be. Eek!
All right. We'll accept it.
Etc.
Now get ready. Now get ready for this curveball of a question. What is
I
your
screwed
least
up that
favorite
first.
word?
Oh, the... Cat.
All right. Normally, this question on the show is asked as "What turns you on?" But to shy away from the sexual side of how people might interpret the question, I'm going to say, "What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?"
Okay. Creativity.
All right. And what turns you off?
Stupidity.
Number 5,
Well said.
my favorite question, as well as many others. What is your favorite curse word?
Dagnabbit.
What
Does that count?
Yeah,
Does that
no,
count?
that's fine. Yeah,
Dag
it doesn't
nabbit?
have to be like one of the big 7 that would get censored off TV.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, Dagnabbit. 'Cause it's real archaic.
What is what sound or noise do you love?
I love in episode 2 of Star Wars that sound of the when Jango Fett's flying through the asteroid field and they're like, what are those called? What's that?
I know what they are.
I have no idea.
Shit,
It's
I
been a long
should
time since I've seen
know.
episode
I know
2.
what you're talking about.
The Sonic Charge? Sonic. I forget what the name of
The
it is,
debt
but
charges, yeah. The debt
Yeah.
charges. I think they're debt
it
charges.
like
I'll look it
sucks
up.
the sound out of if space could have sound, but it sucks it out and then it all explodes out in a ripple. That sound effect is awesome.
Cool. All right.
So I love that sound.
What sound or noise do you hate?
To,
Oh. For a second, I thought it was It was like, oh, that makes sense for a teacher, I guess.
I don't know. Droning. The droning of the monotone voices. I don't know.
Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Ninja.
What profession would you not like to do?
Well, the killing part of ninja I probably wouldn't like so much. So ninja and ninja.
Ninja and ninja, but for completely
Well,
different reasons.
I probably wouldn't want to. Like I watch those. This is sad, but I watch those shows where, like, Gordon Ramsay goes and cleans up nasty kitchens and crap.
I'm addicted to those
I
shows.
don't wanna-
Nightmares. Yeah.
That makes me sick. Just the image of that grease on a hand. I don't know. That would be the worst job, having to deal with muck like that all the time.
All right. And finally, the last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I'd like to be called a good and faithful servant and be told that I can enter into his rest.
There we go. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us. That's been NES Complex. Great answers. Thanks a lot. Big round of applause for him coming out,
Thank you guys for
joining
having
us
me.
tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
It was really
You
awesome.
guys are awesome guys.
talking to you. For everyone listening, thanks a lot for staying with us the whole time. This has been the Johnny Cage and the rest of the Friday Night Skype crew, and we will talk to you all next week.